I really, really just want to see them go head-to-head constantly in team fighting.
Honestly, I think you're going to be rewarded, Emily.
I hope
think
so.
That's what you're going to get today. These two teams will deliver, and a lot of these two teams has been about the jungle matchup. Blabber and Griffin really do encapsulate the qualities of their team that are both the best and the worst.
The entirety of the team.
Yes, they really do. And you can see it come out in draft a lot as well. The Shyvana ban here targeted at Griffin. Right now, Shyvana is such a strong carry champion. They oftentimes are able to get huge CS leads and get him to that juggernaut status. And they actually paid more respect to Gakkos than Raz did.
I know!
Because they banned the Olaf, which is premier top lane juggernaut carry right now as well. Whereas Raz was sticking him down in last place.
Yeah, C9 putting some respect on Gakkos' name, or at least on Olaf's name.
Yeah, at least on Olaf's
As they'll also ban out that Cassiopeia. Jarvan Nocturne Bard banned out by FlyQuest, and C9 makes the same play that so many of our teams are making these days in their game ones. They're picking the Ezreal first and foremost.
Yeah, and I like the immediate response of picking up the Karma for FlyQuest to separate out. That is still one of the hardest pushing lanes available. And yeah, as you pointed out, Ezreal has been such a high cryo 80 carry. Even back on the last patch, when everyone was like, oh, mage bot lane is a thing, Ezreal was the most popular champion.
And this is a classic response to early Ezreals, and first picking it is stealing away the Karma and adding the Caitlyn to get a push lane yourself. Try and play for tower plate money. Don't take any unnecessary risks. Just push in the wave, constantly get your peacemakers through, constantly look for your Karma poke, and try and be the ones with the pushing bottom lane. That determines so much of games right now. If you get bottom lane control, then you're able to start stacking dragons, and has been the most reliable course to success.
And it's one of the things that defined this FlyQuest team specifically when they were doing well, right? When they were surprising us in Split 1 and Split 2, it was through the power of this bot lane of Masu and Cryogen. And thus far in this split, they've looked a little bit shakier. I think they didn't necessarily adapt to some of the support roam meta, especially with the timers that Cryogen was sometimes missing on the map. But as we see, that Gnar locked in for Gakkos.
And I think that this it should be a good situation for Cryogen, a better situation, because not only does he get his hands on one of these range supports that has been better for him than some of the engaged ones, but also with the changes, the more restrictive support role quest, that also kind of lends itself more towards locking people in lane, getting more time for Caitlyn Karma to try and pressure. It'll be a little bit more punishing if Leona is trying to leave, to look for roams and affect the other lanes. But you can also just straight up try and look to crack that Caitlyn Karma lane with some ganks and some kills. We'll see if Blabber's able to get down there. Vi, unfortunately, is usually more of a level 6 champion, but you definitely can come after just your first full clear and do like a Q flash play onto the bot.
Yeah, at least try to disturb that bot lane, right? I like removing the Vayne, kind of necessary if you're going to be blinding that Gnar on the top side. Really want to set up for Gakkos in this lane, even if, maybe I disagree with Raz's tier list of it. I do think that Gakkos has had a bit of a rough start to this split, even on these kind of carry top laners that we kind of knew him for previously. So I'm hoping for a good game out of him. Obviously, Thanatos is a really tough opponent to go up against, and you can already see that with the Ambessa and Vayne both taken off the table.
Exactly. Double bans in the top side. Meanwhile, for C9, they're saying, all right, well, we've got our jungler. Let's ban out some of the good answers into that, and they ban out two champs that can straight up just stat check Vi anytime they run into her. The Trundle, the Nasus that Griffin is so well known for. Both now no longer available here in this first game. It's back over to FlyQuest. Remember, they will have the final pick of the entire draft. I highly expect this to be saved for Quad in the mid lane, so I want to see what they go with for the jungler here on Fly.
Yeah, I'm also curious. I do want to bring up the fact that Azir has kind of received successive buffs. Both of these mid laners, it's Loki's most played and one of Quad's best champs.
Do they want to go with a Yorick into the Gnar and try and split push on the side of Cloud9? I'm very interested to see if Thanatos wants to. Okay, so he does want to go for the 1v1 though. He does want the aggressive Jace match into it. And honestly, that is a very good one. So it does give Blabber multiple options of areas on the map he can go to. I will say though, I've been a huge fan of Wukong. Even previous to the jungle pet buffs that just went down, they were not straight up a line in the patch notes that was, hey, we buffed Wukong, but the jungle pet getting more damage based on resistances greatly benefits Wukong because you get a bunch of extra armor off of your passive, and it did increase the clear speed of this champion. So it is one of the best jungle champions in solo queue right now. You can carry team fights with it. You can delete enemy carries that are low mobility, and guess what? That is exactly what you want when you're playing against an Orianna, when you give over one of those powerful mid lane mages. If you have Azir blow the flash and you have Wukong ganking, that is a recipe for success.
And we do see the Azir coming out for Quad. It is his third most played all time. He's 19 and 10 on it with a 65% win rate. And I think when FlyQuest was succeeding previously with their old roster, they did such a good job of giving Quad so much side lane farm to then affect the map that way. We've been kind of missing that a little bit more with this FlyQuest team, but I would suspect to see something like that come out where they're really going to try to funnel a lot of side waves into this Azir because Quad is so comfortable on it.
All right, draft is done for game number 1. Both of these teams, like we've already talked about a little bit, not quite the start they were hoping to, not that explosive initiation into summer to set themselves as one of the top contenders here, but both of them still hungry to get on track, still hungry to be one of those top competitors heading into playoffs, heading into Worlds. And Emily, we already know this is your match of the week.
It is! Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, Raz was the Ultimate Grudge Match Bowl Part 2 yesterday between Dignitas and Shopify, which was a good choice.
Good choice, Raz.
He always complains that he can't pick first. He can pick first, and he did. But this is my match of the week.
Wait a second. Wait, really? Raz is allowed to pick first?
Yeah, he picked first the past 2 weeks. You're just lying to the people, Kobe.
Oh my God. I mean, Azael's the one that said it. But now my entire world has been shattered here.
Has it?
Yes.
You disagree with
we
Raz?
We always felt bad for Raz. We always felt bad for Raz because we're like, oh, Raz is left with, you know, the leftover picks, right?
No, he's picking those. He's picking those matches himself.
I see. Well, Emily, you're the one with the leftovers here, the Cloud9 FlyQuest. That's why you were talking about how much action you want from this game.
And it's not going to be leftovers, right? Because the AD already set up how important this could be for actual Worlds implications down the line, how both of these teams are hungry, and how Vulcan can get a snazzy support record by passing Aphromoo for most assists all time in the LCS, which is actually an insane statistic to hit.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of times we see people kind of hit these milestones of, oh, he's number 5 now, or oh, he broke into the top 10. A lot of those really tip-top spots are so far cemented away from everybody else, from players who have played for years and years and years and years. It's very difficult to contest them. And so here you can see just the difference between number 1 and then going down to number 6 is over, you know, 1,000. Vulcan now 30 away from Aphromu's spot. So there's the potential for that to happen here in this series. There's a very high likelihood of it happening here in Summer Split. It would be very surprising for it not to happen. Vulcan and C9 would have to have some pretty lousy games. So we'll keep our eye on that one as things go forward.
And small shout out to Blabber. You know, he's going to be moving up the ranks today, provided he gets 2 assists in this series.
I would hope that my jungler could get 2 assists in a series. That would be pretty important.
Oh, no assist on that one!
Here in the top side, as soon as we pan up into top lane, Thanatos on the Jace, maybe justifying some of Raz's Gakko slander. Let's take another look.
I was going to say, are we just going to have to say Raz was right immediately here? Thanatos teleports in, gets the shock blast on the Gakkos. Let's see, and then it's just going to go regular hammer for him. What in the heck, man?
Huh?
Oh! That's rough.
Yeah, that's...
The little mini Gnar just got a hammer to the head, Flowers.
That mini Gnar is a puddle of guts and goop on the ground now, man. That hammer squished him.
Yeah, I mean, electrocute Jace. shocked him.
Zap. Not really good. Okay, well, Mini Gnar has unfortunately started off with a really, really bad turn of events up here in the top lane, but C9's loving it.
Honestly, though, the reaction gif is the best. It was perfect. He's just scratching his head there. Well, I guess I'm dead. Uh-oh. That guy could just teleport in and kill me like that? Okay.
Yeah, so Thanatos certainly living large up here in the top side, checking in on junglers. They did start on opposite areas of the map. First Scuttle Crabs have already been cleared. You can see Griffin lurking here around the top side, but for Thanatos, things are great. Yeah, his jungler's on the opposite end of the map right now, but the wave is coming to him, so it's not like he's going to be under any pressure after securing that solo kill earlier. Top lane going exactly as C9 would want it. Meanwhile, down there in the bottom lane, you can see the largest individual CS lead in the game does belong to Masu over Tactical, as the Caitlyn Karma lane oppression that you guys were talking about back in draft is in full swing.
Yeah, and when you're locked in a 2v2 against the Caitlyn Karma, it does feel really bad. I did like this response from FlyQuest, especially since I do think their bot lane doing well has been such a key factor in their stronger performances that we've seen from them this year.
Yeah. It's been a huge lever for success for this team, which we can judge them by. And Masu himself, you know, he did play a lot against Tactical in 2024, and he was undefeated, versus Tactical. So even though at the beginning of the day, you know, I was interviewing the coaches, and I was, you know, letting them know, oh yeah, Cloud9 haven't lost to FlyQuest all year long, but Masu has not lost versus Tactical all ever
lifetime.
long.
Yeah.
All ever
His
long.
entire
That's
life.
a long time.
Yes, there's a song, ever long.
Wow.
All right, we're getting in the cold times here.
Yeah.
As we do have the Dragon started up by FlyQuest. Blabber is in the neighborhood. C9 want to make a contest out of this one. Vault Breaker charged up. Caitlyn Trap placed onto the floor. Peacemaker flies out. The smite comes in for Griffin as Quad enters into the fight. Goes for the shuffle. Traps Loki between the soldiers and the wall. Forces the flash out of the Orianna. So although C9 wanted to try to stop it, you saw the smites come down in the first one. Take it to about 20 HP or so. Looked like a bit of an improper timing there from Blabber, which led FlyQuest to being able to escape with the objective. But now Griffin is back down here in the bottom lane, looking to maybe get something as a follow-up. But no, he's spotted by the ward. Tactical and Vulcan get back.
Yeah, and it kind of just allows for all of them to reset, pick up some items. But yeah, this is what having that pushing bot lane allows you, right? Is the first look at the Drake. As we look back on the smite, because this did end up being pretty dicey.
It's a good old-fashioned fair smite fight. I love these, and nobody has upgraded smite, so they're just looking to chunk it down. Masu's like, you know what? I want to see you guys put your reaction to the test. Gets it low, 32 HP left. And Griffin is able to claim it. Then Quad goes for the flash play to go for both of them. He does get the flash out of Loki in trade, which is still always good for Azir, because Azir plus Wukong, as I mentioned in Champion Select, they're looking to immediately blow the Orianna flash and then repeat pressure this champion over and over in lane. Try and use your ults as soon as they come back off cooldown.
Yeah, and we'll see what either jungler wants to do with those flashless mid laners. Meanwhile, you know, Vulcan and Tactical have had enough of getting getting shoved in by the Caitlyn Karma, so they are going to be the first to swap, try to push in this wave before FlyQuest is able to respond with their own duo bot lane.
Yeah, and they say, well, we haven't had enough, so we're going to match you.
We're having a great time, actually.
Yeah, they're going to match him up to the top side. Thanatos, though, he is the lead for Cloud9. Thanatos is actually more than the lead for Cloud9 because he has to make up for the bottom lane that had lost plate money, and he has done so. You know, with his solo kill as well as rotating to the other side, it's a massive top difference here in favor of Cloud9, in favor of Thanatos.
Ooh, but now we get both junglers sitting on their own control wards. Griffin's going to be the first to step up. With Cryogen and Masu having control, they're going to look for Blabber, who immediately wants to reverse things right back after Cryogen. But Blabber is very low, down to 100 HP. He's killed away first as FlyQuest now turn their attention over onto Tactical. Griffin's got to be a little bit careful. Down to 300 HP here on the Wukong. As there's your Shockwave. Vulcan goes in and he lines up the Solar Flare right after. Griffin is stunned up and Tactical guns him down. The rotation from Loki ends up making the difference here on the Orianna as Vulcan has the killer instinct to flash the ball in, and C9 score big.
That was beautiful from Vulcan. Not only the flash in with the Shockwave, but then also hits the Solar Flare, hits the Zenith Blade, gets the extra kill onto Griffin, and Tactical pumping DPS the entire time. Really nice counter attack there from Cloud9 after FlyQuest thought they were going to have the momentum on the first kill.
Yeah, that was such a beautiful combination from Loki and Vulcan. As we look here, Griffin going on to Blabber. Blabber responding, trying to get onto Cryogen. Cryogen getting out is actually huge too because he's able to kind of get his team up out of there. But then, yeah, this play from Vulcan, so well coordinated. Flash, Shockwave, then landing the Zenith Blade, stunning up Griffin so that Tactical can clean up that kill.
Yeah, beautiful from Vulcan, looking both sides here. And you see him already putting his mouse over the Wukong, hits the ultimate, hits the Zenith Blade as well, and Tactical's there enough to finish the damage before Vulcan even went down to tower damage. I also want to point out, though, Masu, that was pretty weird for me, like netting in only to go melee range and then getting stunned and cleansing and then having to flash out as well. As the early rotation from mid lane should have been called. The Orianna move was very early on from the mid lane, and they could have been communicating about it. So I think the net forward from Masu was a little off as well.
And I want to cover what we missed during the replay. FlyQuest did try to make a play up there towards the top side. Thanatos got away. Solar Flare down here in the bottom lane now is Vulcan alongside Blabber looking to make yet another move. Beautiful True Shot barrage going right through to follow it up. Cryogen dies here first, but now Griffin is coming in. He's got quad behind him. Blabber with a flash away tries to escape, but the Cyclone catches him. Now Vulcan in some serious danger as well as the Emperor's Divide comes out. Yes, Cloud9 are going to get another kill, but FlyQuest hit back harder. They grabbed the 2 kills in retaliation. They got the 3 grubs during the replay earlier, which is what I was going to try to talk about, but we got more action. So FlyQuest, although we did see Cloud9 land a couple of punches, Fly are not asleep at the wheel.
Look, we already set this up that I felt like you were going to get a workout today, right? Because if we got the game that I kind of wanted from these two teams, this is what it's going to look like. Punch after counter punch. This is going to allow FlyQuest to get hopefully their second Drake. It doesn't look like, C9 are not going to be able to contest this, which is really, really crucial, especially because of the leads that C9 had been able to build in top. And now in that bot lane.
No flash, yeah.
I'm looking Phil.
I'm still
Looking
here.
cover? Yeah.
Can you reach?
Or no?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going cover, we're going cover.
Yeah.
Wukong's coming, okay guys?
Yeah.
It's fine, it's fine.
He's
One
one
shot.
shot.
Wait, slowly back. Wukong's coming, Wukong's
Yeah.
coming.
We can still fight, no?
Yeah, maybe looking by on Leona. Okay.
Look here, look here.
Vi 1 HP.
I can kill Vi.
What
Vi
about
no
Leona?
flash, Vi no flash.
No flash.
Leona no
bot
flash,
lane.
Leona no flash.
Just go Leona.
I'm just killing this guy.
Yeah.
Can I get this?
Yes,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, I mean, nice traps response from Masu. You know, as Cryogen is going to go down, they're making the calls. Hey, no flash on this guy, so we're going to go kill him. But as long as they get the traps there around the support that is going down, they're able to get the counter kill on both Blabber and on Vulcan. So Emily's match of the week is delivering in combat score.
And great score. Love that score.
We love combat score. Congrats to Blabber. As we already pointed out, he only needed 2 assists, currently sitting at 3, surpasses Bjergsen for 6th all-time in the LCS.
And funnily enough, he owes those assists to Vulcan. I think in both situations, Vulcan the one kind of creating so much here for Cloud9. Now, of course, the previous play we just watched actually was net negative on kills for them because it was 1 for 2, but they're still trying to keep up the combat score, the action score here for Cloud9, and they have pushed the gold lead to a very sizable amount here. You know, 1,000 at almost 13 minutes as they continue to pressure the bot side, but FlyQuest making their big move
Yeah, FlyQuest have eyes on Thanatos again. During that earlier replay, they tried a 3-man play after him, but weren't able to secure the kill. Now they're sending even more as Thanatos tries to keep the wave away from the turret, but FlyQuest simply do not care. 13 minutes in, they can just hard force this play, find the kill onto the Jace. Meanwhile, C9 applying pressure onto the Tier 1 turret here in the bottom lane. Should be both of these Tier 1s dying, as C9 are going to get the first one down here in bottom lane.
Yeah, I was going to say both teams kind of trading pressure points on the map, with FlyQuest trying to take down Thanatos. Here's exactly what I was talking about, with Quad's Azir trying to vacuum up a bunch of this side lane farm and hammer down this turret, as Cryo is going to go for a little trip into the jungle, get some key vision down.
And some good things for the side of Cloud9, even though FlyQuest trying to answer here. They are going to have a tactical on Trinity Force for Dragon number 3. You know, Dragon number 3 is where you want to put a stop to the stacking for FlyQuest, and Ezreal with Trinity Force going to have a very big impact. Caitlyn, oftentimes we say one item isn't going to be a big impact, but sometimes you can get really good trap setups or placement there, so maybe we'll see if there's a lot of utility out of the traps as well as the damage that Masu is going to be able to bring. If you can get to the dragon early for FlyQuest, it'll have huge benefits. Of course, you're always trying to get that set up early, and is going to allow you the extra vision control.
And one thing I really want to point out about C9's gold lead now,
Well, you might have a chance, you might not. Okay, never mind. Let's hear it.
All right, we have a small window before they start fighting again, and it's that topside play with the Ori Leona combo was so crucial because of what it did for Tactical, right? Like prior to that, they were getting really pushed in by this Caitlyn Karma. Tactical is now in such a good spot, and I think for all of the talk we've had about is it a 5-man, is it a 7-man, et cetera, I think Tactical has been performing really well. I'm so glad to see him back in the league. And with this gold lead on the Ezreal, I feel like he is a very trustworthy carry to have in C9's fights. Yeah,
Ezreal definitely one of his favorited champions, definitely one of his best performers, and he has been both very threatening on it as well as not exposing himself to too much risk. Always like to see them try and play on the edge, but FlyQuest here just going to make the cross map as the Rift Herald goes over to Cloud9, try and get more money into Quad. Again, putting the Azir in the side lane is always the recipe here for mid-game. You're trying to get more money on this champion. Despite all of the changes that have gone to Azir over the many, many years, it's always good to get extra money to funnel in to be a big carry AP champ for those mid-game team fights, and you're going to have the ability to make large plays. I will say it's greatly reduced if you don't blow flashes before the dragon fight, and in a lot of cases now, honestly, I think that he'll be better placed looking for like front-to-back damage, but we'll see as Cloud9 takes the vision leading up to the dragon.
Exactly. Cloud9 with control over this bottom side river. Kobe, you mentioned flashes, and all 10 of them are up across both sides of the rift. The only summoner spell that is not available is Loki's teleport, as Griffin gets grabbed by the Zenith Blade, but now Vulcan's got to be careful. Needs to flash back away because he ends up going too far forward with that Leona engaged. So now FlyQuest, what else do you want to do? Because the dragon has already been secured. C9 had enough of a distraction there with Vulcan that Blabber was just able to take the Drake, no contest, as the Herald is dropped on the side of mid lane, and that should at least be able to find a charge that gets most of the remaining HP of the mid lane turret. Emperor's Divide just thrown out there to stop the Herald charge. Nice usage from Quad. It's not quite the same thing as a Bard ulti, but you know what? It does the same job.
Yeah, you just want to do it early so you get the wall up there and existing before the Herald does charge, so you can just knock it into it and take care of the Herald afterwards.
Yeah, and it kind of pulls some of the power out of this play from C9, right? Like really nice use of the way that they set up vision, forced Fly to check into Fog, and you know, Blabber was already on the Drake, right? And it was really, really important that they stopped this FlyQuest early Drake stacking, despite the slight waste of the Herald afterwards because of the Azir ult.
And it's really, really important for both of these teams to be able to compete at the top of the table if they want to try to make it to Worlds, if they want to try to make it to an LCS title, like the one that they could be playing for on October 3rd and 4th at the Gas South Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. You can scan that QR code, get your tickets right now. These guys got to beat the hell out of each other to get there. All you got to do is beat the hell out of that QR code, and you'll be able to join them right there in that arena. It's a thing of beauty.
Don't go punching your screen right now.
I'm imagining someone punching their screen, and as someone who broke their hand punching something, do not do that. It is a bad idea. I'm telling our viewers now.
I'm up here with Flowers and Emily, the two most violent LCS talents.
Punchingest LCS
true.
commentators. Boom.
Someone send help.
Kobe's like, I'm scared.
There's a reason Kobe's not the one in the middle.
Yeah, true.
All right, but we are in the middle of a game state that I feel like could explode at any moment. It's 4-4. It's a 1,000 gold lead for C9, so nothing super huge, but they do have at least small advantages in 4 out of 5 rolls as Thanatos continues pushing this side lane, gets that wave shoved up into the tier 2 bottom, but there it is. There's Azir duty once again, like you're talking about, Kobe. Quad is happy to become the biggest, strongest, shiniest chicken he can be in this side lane.
Yeah, I mean, I think the setup for FlyQuest fights does rely a lot on the power of this Azir, right? And specifically, if he's able to get onto this Ezreal. Ezreal is notoriously a very difficult champion to get on top of and eliminate in the back line of a fight because he has so much mobility and agency. So that is, those are kind of the two power points in whatever ends up being the next fight that I'm looking at.
And I like that Quad is going the traditional Azir build, the DPS focus.
Yeah.
I mean, I do like the variations for, having like Dusk and Dawn when you need sustain and when you want some burst damage for a Sheen proc there. But the traditional carry, wait a second.
Ooh, that is disaster there for FlyQuest. They lose their jungler. 20 seconds until the Baron spawns, 30 seconds until Griffin is back alive. So at least it's not as bad as it could be if that Baron was already on the map. But Griffin was the one point of FlyQuest that did have a gold advantage. So finding that snappy pick onto him feels good for C9.
Yeah, and I think it's really nice the way that C9 have been playing with Fog, with the tools they have. Obviously, you have a ton of poke from Jace or Ezreal if they're there, but Vulcan has been so on point with this Leona, locking people down and kind of forcing FlyQuest to make dangerous face checks or make a face check that they didn't necessarily know was dangerous.
Yeah, and I was going to say, I'm not as impressed with the way Griffin is using his face at the moment. They do have three Scryer's trinkets right now, the blue trinkets. It is kind of dangerous to face check. Wukong, you have to be very ready and quick at using your clone.
Yeah.
Like this champion, is pretty, decent at face checking, but in the last couple, it has been Blabber, this time clicking quicker on his R button as Masu's just dead.
You want to talk about quick, blink and you'll miss it. Masu dies as Thanatos jumps over the wall. That is now 2 out of 5 FlyQuest players that have been insta-gibbed by the hammer in game 1.
Yeah. Do we have the gift to play over again?
Yeah.
same exact thing here, except Masu's now scratching his head. What the heck? That Jace came out of my own jungle. Regardless, though, yeah, the last one was, Blabber clicks on his R button before Griffin can click on his W button there for the Wukong to make a clone. And they just instantly deleted him, but FlyQuest's going to click right on that Baron.
Okay, Baron started up. Let's see if we get anything out of it. No, sir. Instead, Griffin is just going to walk away. Vulcan's solar flare shows that Cloud9 was ready to commit if FlyQuest wanted to stick around, so they are immediately backing off of that one. Cloud9, 3,500 gold lead now. This is starting to get kind of dicey for FlyQuest. Earlier, we were talking about how back and forth they're trading punches, but that was when FlyQuest had 2 Drakes to none. Now C9 is about to tie up this Drake count, so you don't have that different area of advantage while also having the 3,000 gold lead. It's really looking C9 favored.
Yeah, and I think it's a combination of how they've been setting up the map, especially for Thanatos and Tactical, and then also how, as Kobe already pointed out, FlyQuest have made some maybe over-eager face checks into a few brushes. And I think it's really big how I don't mind the attempt, right, by FlyQuest at being like, maybe we can sneak the Baron, they back off immediately, but that does end up giving this 4th Drake over to C9, and they should just be able to keep pushing. Now you see they're already rotating up Vulcan and Thanatos to clear out this vision and potentially set up for a Baron take.
Yeah, I'm progressively getting more and more worried for FlyQuest as it goes on, because while, you know, you can like start it up and check and see if they're, you know, blind or lazy or something on the other side. No.
They got to be one of the two, man. Blind and lazy, or we're in trouble.
Yeah. No flash on Wukong. This champion, I really think Wukong right now in the meta is excellent with the extra resistances and clear speed that you get because of those resistances, but without the flash, like the flash is such a big playmaking tool for Wukong, because you don't want to have to clone into fights. You want to be able to flash E into fights so you can do your full DPS combo and then use your clone for extra knockups and repositioning within the fight. And then you can really be a monster in these team fights, but we'll see. Him being the lone member with no flash for the next team fight is dangerous!
Ooh, Blabber decides to full send it in after Griffin. They are going for the Wukong. Second cast of the Cyclone gives them enough distance to stay alive for now, but Quad has to jump back over the wall. The shifting sands to also barely escape, so no kills for C9. But the FlyQuest jungler and mid laner are out of the picture. They must go back to base and heal. Remember that Quad will have his teleport to rejoin the rest of the team if he needs to. As C9 start up the Baron, Scryer's trinket from the FlyQuest side is going to see this started, but it's very low Baron DPS for now. C9 taking this slowly, and they are going to back away from the objective, considering they got no kills. They don't want to tempt FlyQuest to come and stop them and potentially throw the lead.
So if we're doing a punches count from your earlier, you know, dream of having punches back and forth, I think Cloud9 may have like doubled the amount of punches thrown than FlyQuest now. Even when they don't kill them, Cloud9, quick punch in the face and they have to run away and you get an objective.
Yeah, I feel like if we're counting the poke from the Ezreal, from
and
the
shock
Jace,
blast,
as like, punches, right? Like, you're not KOing someone, but you're definitely causing a lot of bruising.
Yeah, they're running away.
Maybe some broken bones, you know?
They're certainly keeping FlyQuest guessing, making them have to remain with their guard up, because it's C9 deciding everything so far in this mid-game. 2 minutes until the next Drake spawns. Remember that Cloud9 have got the previous 2, even though FlyQuest got the first 2. And that first one was 20 or 30 HP away from also being a C9 Drake. If that would have gone to Blabber, if that was just slightly different, then FlyQuest could be staring down the barrel of a Dragon Soul fight in 90 seconds. So if nothing else, they're very thankful that punch didn't land.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think the biggest concern for FlyQuest right now is that with the map control that C9 have, it's just going to make it riskier and riskier to be able to check for vision or anything without taking a face full of poke from the Jace, from the Ezreal. And I also am trying to think about like what an ideal team fight from FlyQuest looks like at this point, right? Because Kobe, you already touched upon how Wukong can be such a crucial engage tool. We haven't talked about Gakos much, and it's because we really only touched upon when he got solo killed earlier, right? But this Gnar hasn't really had a lot of say or agency in some of the team fights that you'd want from a Gnar. They haven't been able to set up really well for the Azir or the Caitlyn. So we're kind of still waiting to see what a good team fight from FlyQuest would look like. But as we see, Masu just loses about a third of his health from more C9 poke.
And honestly, I would highlight that there's too many 3-item power spikes on Cloud9 right now compared to FlyQuest. Even if you like keep the gold kind of close, the third dragon, if the enemy team has too many like extra full build items, oftentimes I'm just going to recommend don't go for the third dragon and wait for the actual soul. Even though it's really risky, you really got to have your best possible chance, because I don't think FlyQuest are going to get, you know, more than a chance or two at another big team fight here. It looks like they are circling around to maybe threaten from the Baron side of the map, though.
And that's what I like from C9 here. You can see, just like with the last Drake, this one is 4 players from C9 keeping FlyQuest's attention over in mid. Blabber solos down the Drake. Now, yes, FlyQuest are still looking over towards that Baron, but another Shock Blast hits. Now, both of the big carries on FlyQuest are chunked down to around half HP thanks to Shock Blast. It feels way too risky to try to start anything. Thanatos stepping forward again, just looking at Griffin, multiple auto attacks. Another Shock Blast. That's a 3rd champ below half HP from Shock Blasts. Thanatos' Jace is lore accurate here. This man is causing problems for Fly.
Another punch and another FlyQuest member running away.
Yeah.
Well, he punched him and then he also shot him a couple of times. That's
He's just fighting dirty. That's below the belt for sure.
That's pretty messed up. Chased him off the crab, though, for sure. That's like the Cloud9 are just kind of bullying them across the map. They're not allowed to do anything. And Flowers, what is the oldest and truest counter to poke? It is always hard engage. Always has been. You have to use flashes on the Wukong, on the Gnar, maybe the Azir too, hell. You got to get your critical hard engage at the critical moment here before getting poked out, but they're constantly getting chunked out, getting poked out here on the side of FlyQuest before they can act.
And remember, back during the lane phase, we were talking about the dominance of the Caitlyn Karma like we were expecting. And yeah, Masu and Cryogen were loving that lane phase, but now Tactical's Ezreal up to an over 1,000 gold lead compared to Masu. Cloud9 as a team, they do have the 1 extra turret over their opponents here as well, as the Baron is started up but not committed immediately, though. Griffin goes in one to commit onto Thanatos. C9 peeling back. Griffin might be your target now, but C9 does not want to overextend because Thanatos is injured. Thanatos probably going to need to take a recall here as Loki steps forward, trying to clear out some of the wave. Blabber goes in, wants to find the target onto Quad. The Azir down to half HP, barely staying alive right now as Blabber loses Guardian Angel. He's going to respawn in a very bad spot. Gakkos grabs the kill. Loki into the stasis with the arm guard staying alive for now, but he dies next. Beautiful fight from FlyQuest, has already found 2. Can they get anything more? C9's not going to let him have it, but Fly finally get their moment.
Griffin, he gets the flash play. He sees the opening there onto Thanatos. They go in, they get the flash off the Jace, and then they start to siege themselves. And then it comes from Cloud9 stumbling on their own attempt at the engages. Blabber here tries to get all the way to the Azir, just a little short, so then he has to ult, and he's all alone, gets shuffled into the rest of the team. And the real star are the traps from Caitlyn. Masu here. He traps out of GA. He also traps out of Zhonya's. He baits in the Jace here so that Griffin was able to find his image. And then the knockups, all the knockups there from Griffin. The last one critical too as disengaging. Then they pull up the siege. Here's the Blabber attempt. Look at him go. He tries to Q and flash. It was a little short. Then he goes for the ultimate, but there's no follow-up there. And Gakkos is able to section him off. Trap out of the GA. Boom, dead. Again, trap out of the Zhonya's here from Masu. Very nice. Into another shutdown from him.
Yeah, and you see it as we see the...
That's... Dom not happy about that one.
Yeah. And off camera, we did get the FlyQuest Baron take, it looks like. But I think the other big thing is that because Griffin landed that engage, we talk about hard engage versus poke. You know who wasn't a huge part of that fight was Thanatos, right? Because he got chunked so quickly, and then Blabber's engage kind of being a little bit ahead of where the rest of the team was at, immediately shuffled out. So now FlyQuest are sieging on this mid tier 1, and this is, we see Gakkos kind of stalking along the side. This is what I like about this FlyQuest team, is that they will keep fighting, they will keep punching, right? Like, they never seem particularly out of a game, even if their opponents have a map advantage.
And I will say, it is easy to short a Q flash on Vi sometimes. You know, it's the full range is kind of hard to get, but Quad didn't even have to flash in response to it, you know? And FlyQuest still have their critical flashes here too. So I don't think that Cloud9 are going to be able to defend very much. And yeah, they have to give up another tower here. So a lot of gold, so much payment off of that critical team fight for FlyQuest. And meanwhile, they still have all their critical flashes on the Azir, on the Caitlyn. I mean, it's looking quite good for the comeback.
Yeah, it's another tower that has to be given up, and I'm going to bet they have to give up this next dragon here as well. FlyQuest still has the Baron for over another minute. The dragon spawning in about 20 seconds. This would be Chemsoul if C9's able to secure it, but it is a point of power for Fly, who have tied the game up in terms of gold. Very, very stark contrast to being down 3,000 just a few minutes ago. C9, however, do have control over the entrance to the bot side river, and FlyQuest are willing to step up to try to challenge that. You can still see about 1/4 of the cooldown remaining on the flash from Griffin as Masu steps forward, does take a chunk at a Tactical's health bar there.
Ooh, the
Blabber.
Blabber's
flank.
going on a little trip.
Yeah, Blabber with the wrap all the way around here, trying to get the angle onto FlyQuest. Masu chunked down to half HP thanks to the Shock Blast. Gakgos' Gnar bar is mostly charged, but he's not quite there just yet. Blabber with a Mega Blast Cone over the wall. The Shockwave on top of him. Blabber's trying to follow it up, but Masu's still alive. Finally dies to the last bit of damage from the Vi. Griffin in the middle of everybody, going to trade 80 carries back and forth, but Blabber is now also dead. Big Mega Gnar coming in. Thanatos has to try to run away as Vulcan exits through the back of the fight. Loki still putting out the DPS into the top laner of FlyQuest, who was all alone. Now Cryogen's got to be a little bit careful. Quad's still alive, but he's low on HP. And right when I'm saying it looks like FlyQuest should have control over the river, have control over the current game state, it's C9 who win the fight 3 for 2.
All right, Blabber makes up for the distance this time, because that was the longest range engage that we have seen in a long time. Flanks around the world through the back of the jungle. Super blast cones onto Masu's face, and then just as Masu flashes away, he's still at the ult up, but they're going to fight this.
Yeah, they're going in for it. Quad gets away from the Shock Blast, but Cryogen's going to be the target instead. They know they can catch that Karma so easily. Shockwave into the Solar Flare forces out the stasis from Quad, and he will die right thereafter. Loki has his own stasis to make sure that Quad can't trade the kill. So now with Loki having no resources, very low health, completely out of mana, they do have to be a little bit careful here. Blabber is alive back on the map, heading towards the Dragon Pit, but Griffin is also here. So actually, I wasn't wrong, I wasn't right. I wasn't anything because that dragon is still on the map.
Yeah, and now FlyQuest are going to potentially be taking first crack at it.
Round
15.
Ding,
Ding, ding, ding.
Ding, ding, ding. Okay, Dragon now, though, it is controlled by C9, and it looks like once the dust finally settles from this extended fighting, it will be a Chemtech Soul claimed 34.5 minutes into the game for C9.
Yep, Azir still dead after everything used to try and stop the previous iteration of the Dragon Soul by FlyQuest.
나를 쳐.
Blabber's in goal, Blabber's in goal.
Guys, I'm going.
Blabber's
Okay,
go.
okay.
Coming, no flash.
Yeah.
1 HP.
Wukong's here with no W, no flash.
Killing Jet.
Hit front, kill Wukong.
Azir door. Yeah. Kill Wukong, guys.
Wukong almost dead.
No flash.
Third Oriana.
Azir,
Go Azir
Azir
side.
low.
Kill Azir.
Yeah. No shield.
I have to count one time.
Kill
No
Naruto, Thanatos.
No flash.
I can go Azir again, guys.
Yeah.
Azir door.
I fucked up.
Just hop back up.
Victory, guys.
A little bit of
We
a-
can go Azir again.
Yeah.
Oh, just kidding. I missed my
Yeah.
Steam plate. But they had already won the fight by that point anyways. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. And Vulcan was healing back up with his protoplasm. I have to say, man, that the circumnavigation of the globe from Blabber here. He got Masu's flash and the net while his ult was already on him. So still got to follow. And got Cloud9 right back in here. Emily, you predicted this with your match of the week.
Let's go! I mean, it was going to be hard to top Ultimate Grudge Match Bowl Part 3, right? But this has been a banger, right? We've seen really good plays, I think, from both teams. We've seen some pretty big mistakes from both teams, which is kind of what we were expecting headed into this entire match, right? We have two teams, one kind of still trying to feel out adding 2 more players to their lineup. And then FlyQuest with a pretty difficult schedule to start the season as well. And kind of trying to avoid stagnation from and to continue to improve instead of kind of flattening out after doing so well in the first 2 splits.
All right, Baron started up on the C9 side. It looks, or maybe not started up. Blabber is he actually committed to this? Yes, Blabber's trying to just solo the Baron down. He's got the shielding for the passive there. Tactical takes a massive hit down to half HP. Griffin tries to initiate on the FlyQuest side, but they immediately turn it right back around. Monster is caught. Solar Flare seals his fate, and Griffin's gonna die right next to him. Quad's inside the stasis. He stays alive, flashing away for now. Blabber loses Guardian Angel one more. C9's got to be careful. Loki also into the stasis as Blabber tries to get away. He might die for real this time. Low health bars all all over C9, but it's only FlyQuest who have lost any men. Quad tries to step forward. He knows there's so many kills that are so easy right now, but C9 has managed to create the distance and get everybody away.
Yeah.
Close but not enough is a frequent term used with Chemtech Soul.
Yeah, but the big thing about that is this Azir is still so deadly, right? Oh, we see a deep TP coming in.
Oh, and it's Thanatos as well. The Jace that can do so much damage. He's not going to find anybody immediately hanging around that back of the Baron pit area, but this does give a green light for C9 to go after the Baron. Griffin's still dead for another 5 seconds, so there should be no challenge. Again, it's another big buff going to C9 uncontested.
Yeah, nice reaction from C9. They're going to be able to get this Baron. They also force Azir to have to respond to that wave that they'd pushed in on the bot side of the map. I'm just looking at objective timers. I'm like, okay, when's the next team fight going to happen, right? Because again, we've seen what each team wants to do with their compositions in terms of setup. Right now, I'd still give C9 the edge slightly because they should be able to set the map up with their poke like they were doing a lot of the time in the mid game. And really try to keep track of that potential Wukong engage.
Yeah, and the durability afforded by Chemtech Soul helps so much for these teams that you're kind of looking at such flash hard engage from FlyQuest. Even when they got it, you don't have quite enough damage to finish it off. In the previous scenario, you know, with the extra shields coming through for Cloud9, so with Chemtech Soul, the extra survivability here, they can get right back to pushing, as you say, and try and poke down during the siege. But if you look at FlyQuest, they were trying to do these trailing split push play where you see Azir on the minimap kind of behind the Gnar out of vision. He was waiting the whole time. He was hoping Cloud9 were going to take the bait and attack the Gnar, but they didn't take the bait, and they've got Baron, so they're going to race your base with Baron. The Baron team always wins those races, Flowers.
Yes, C9's death balling it down bottom lane. TPs are trying to come in, but the first Nexus turret has already been killed. Griffin tries to engage and buy a little bit more time. Vulcan into the back line, looking to put pressure onto the carries now, as the Emperor's Divide is already used, but Griffin is down. Gecko's in the middle of everybody, but he won't get much. Quad dies next. FlyQuest are collapsing in real time. The Sun Disk is alive on the ruins of the first Nexus turret. C9 still pushing. C9 found Baron. C9 find another kill. Cryogen dies. Masu and Gakkos against the full C9 squad. Masu tries to get away as tactical shifts forward. Gakkos now caught by the Zenith Blade, but the Shield of Daybreak not quite in range to get the follow-up yet. Accelerated Shock Blast finds another target. Gakkos dies before he can transform. C9 just walked up to the bottom lane, kicked the door in, and won the game. After the first game here, it is C9 just hitting harder.
They certainly were, and there were two people hitting really hard. That was Tactical and Thanatos with the poke damage, and also even before the poke stage, Thanatos with the melee damage stage.
Yeah,
I still remember
round 1 KO on Gakkos.
Yeah.
Flowers, you know, when you're casting that, I like went back to look at the 1v1 as I was like, was there anything fishy going on to analyze here? And there was literally nothing.
No, he just
teleports in, he hits every ability, and
Gakkos
watches him and dies.
Yeah.
It was rough.
That feels bad.
It reminded me of playing, you know, like you're playing a ladder game at 1 o'clock in the morning or something. One guy's not paying enough attention. He's like, just damn. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
On that one.
Okay. Well. All right. Well, let's get into game number 2 because nobody likes a game 1 Andy.
No,
right?
no, we don't need that. We don't need that. This is the best of 3 region. Best of 3s. Let's see what we get here as C9 are on the blue side. FlyQuest electing to go for first pick. Shout outs, by the way, to producer Emin for adding this blue side first pick thing here in the draft. Absolutely.
Big E.
Yeah.
Big E. Exactly.
We're trying it out. I still like Big G better, but you know. Big E is pretty strong too.
Shout outs to you, Emin. Thank you so much. Everybody on the production as well. As we do have Lucian, Olaf, Cassiopeia banned out by C9. FlyQuest getting rid of the Vayne, the Akali, and the Nocturne. As FlyQuest will get first pick in this one. They can't pick the Olaf for Gakkos. We're still paying the Olaf tax on the C9 side. What are we going to get instead? It is the Bard.
And yeah, another support that was still really heavily prioritized on the previous patch. Again, despite all the noise about how roaming supports, how Camille is taking over everything, Bard was still one of the most crucial supports on the patch, also because of his lane pressure and his ability to roam around the map very quickly. So we'll see what... Ooh.
I will say,
cover. I do like a tactical Ziggs.
I will say, usually I don't like blind pick Bard, though. I usually like it way more if enemy is already showing hard engage that you can counter, or if they're showing like low mobility carries that you can get flashes out with your Bard ulti. But they really want it.
Yeah. I do like what we're seeing with the Shen hover, yep, and the Shen is going to be locked in, presumably, for Vulcan down in that bot lane. I've actually really been enjoying the return of support Shen. I think he's super good into so many different matchups and also just allows that extra dimension in team fights. Like, not only is he really good at roaming, obviously you have the taunt, but then you have his global ultimate that's able to save your carries mid-team fight.
Yeah, and you can match some Bard plays across the map too as well. So we'll take a look though. The Varus back on their side, Flowers.
Yeah, and I like Varus when the opponent is something like Shen, because Varus can do so much damage and still have impact with his abilities, not just his auto attacks. Chains of Corruption doesn't care about Spirit's Refuge, Piercing Arrow doesn't. Obviously, it can be harder to apply the Blight stacks when your auto attacks aren't landing, but at least it's not like you're Sivir or something, throwing boomerangs into a whole bunch of nothing.
I like, people can't see, but Flowers was actually making the boomerang motion. As we see, the Mbessa locked in could still technically be flexed for Griffin.
Yeah, they might be more incentivized to do that because they did the Mbessa lock-in with Renekton up, and Renekton early is very good. Dantos is an excellent Renekton player. So I would actually be on board with a swap to the Mbessa jungle at the moment.
Yeah. One thing I do like, though, returning a little bit to the Bard Varus, is the fact that I do appreciate that FlyQuest are recognizing how strong they can be in a 2v2 and how well they have the capability to play around that. Again, because I think it had been a strength of this team in Split 1 and Split 2, especially with how well Masu was playing. So we'll see how this game evolves, but I do like that at least in both of their drafts thus far, FlyQuest have recognized that as a point of power on the map, and a very important one given all of the stuff we always talk about with how important Drake stacking is.
All right, let's see what we get out of the second half of the draft as AP solo laners are targeted. The Sylas banned away by the FlyQuest side. Rumble removed by C9, as they will also continue paying respects to Griffin Shyvana with that last ban.
Yeah, and I appreciate the respect paid to Griffin. I also appreciate the Rumble ban recognizing, as we already pointed out, that Mbessa can be going in the jungle for Griffin as well, and that they might want to flex it into a counter pick for Gakkos.
And you kind of have to ban the Shyvana ban is a response actually to seeing Sylas ban, because that sets you up. Shyvana ult is one of the best ults to steal. So if they're banning Sylas, you get a little fishy here. Something's going on. We definitely don't want to give over a really good Shyvana angle. And so they're going to deny that one as well. And then the Jarvan here kind of giving the opportunity for a lot of those early game plays, especially with a Shen support with you. It's definitely a very strong combo.
And I didn't note it until the hover, but Poppy has been pretty much banned in so many matches, right? And that will be going over to Blabber, presumably. I mean, they could technically, I guess, flex the Shen into jungle as well. But I'm assuming it's going to be Jhin, Shen, and then Poppy saving that counter pick for Loki in the mid lane.
Yeah, and now Cloud9 are set up with double counters on Mbessa. You've got Renekton for lane counter, and you have Poppy for all game dashes counter later on as well, to make it more difficult for the Mbessa to play regardless of what lane she goes to. But especially if you are jungle, then it makes it easy for Blabber to match. So whether the Mbessa goes top or goes jungle, Cloud9 are preparing quite a few answers.
Tough game for Noxie and Grandma. We'll see how well she can navigate it or if she'll need the walker by the end of this one. FlyQuest going to go ahead, lock in that Syndra there for the mid lane for quad. And we do get the Zahen.
Yeah, here we go. So Griffin takes the Mbessa. Blabber's going to match the Mbessa with the Poppy, try and keep her grounded, and it's a lock angle for the dive. Now, to really help out divers like this, I do like when you have a setup similar to this. You have a Shen to go in on the lock. You get huge value out of getting that extra shield as well, because you're just trying to get a reset for the lock. And if you have Jhin 4th shot burst damage, you have lots of bruisers to go in with the lock as well, then honestly, this is one of the looks I do like to try and build it up. I will say the stats worldwide for tier 1 play for lock have not looked great.
A little bit rough.
Faker had a good one, but overall the win rate is very low after the nerfs to the champion. But you know what? I want to see when teams can make it work effectively. I still think the burst damage is insane. The reset power of this champion is crazy. And if you have a lot of dive to go with it, then I'm a believer.
Yeah, the most important thing is the comp that C9 have built around the lock, right? Like Shen, really, really great. Poppy, really, really great. You just have even Renekton stun, right? You have so much setup for the lock to be able to move around freely in these fights, get those resets. So it still will rely on them to be able to set it up. But for right now, there's a lot of CC that can be layered so Loki can kind of just go crazy.
And I want to see if they can get active early around Loki, because remember, as long as you get the kills using the ultimate, using Purgatory, you get that permanently increased execution threshold. Ranks in the skill take it from 10%, 11%, 12% respectively of target's maximum health, but you get an extra 0.5% for every kill you get. So 2 kills equals an extra ults rank worth of damage. As immediately into the bottom lane, we are getting some action. Masu has lost half his HP here at the very start, as Vulcan and Tactical are ready to play this one aggressively.
Yeah, Tactical got to fire off a full round, all 4 bullets here. That is a lot of damage in early trade. Another 4th shot?
Yup, Masu's health bar is hurting, man.
Yeah, and I think it's so important when these last 2 teams met in that Game 5 in spring. It was the bot lane that made the huge difference as Vulcan goes in for another taunt. But I want to talk about the roster, right?
Okay.
Because we're promised a 7-man roster. We have not seen 2 of the men.
Yeah.
Where are the men?
On the 7-man roster, and it's at this point, I just think it's a 5-man roster.
Yeah, it effectively has been a 5-man roster since the changes, but I guess we'll see as it goes on. You know, we continue to check in on Cloud9. Looking here with another trade. Locke's Wave Clear also is very, very good and super easy to use. I highly recommend it if you're playing with a friend who's not that great at CSing, because you just
I got a lot of those.
Yeah, throw all the nails through the wave flowers, and then go for your E in there, and you're all good. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, I mean, we did talk about how much damage was being thrown out and the push for Cloud9, but Vulcan had also used his flash to get that initial play going for them, so there is possibly a world where the Flashless Shen gets punished, and he is kind of low health at the moment as they go for the blue steel.
Okay, Loki does get hit with the quick scat of the week, but oh no, it's first blood already over to Tactical as C9 bring Blabber and both bottom laners for the invade. They get the punish on the enemy support, and Cryogen is down.
I love when you do stuff like this with the Poppy. Blabber goes for the aggressive invade, and he doesn't hesitate to flash stun into the wall.
Yeah, I really love how aggressively C9 have been playing out this early game overall, right, Kobe? Like, they set it up so well with the aggression from Vulcan Shen at level 1 to take over this bot side. And this is just such a well-coordinated, aggressive blue buff invade. You see Vulcan's immediately there for the taunt. Follow-up. Tactical is my favorite emote in the game, the take notes emote. But yeah, successful steal.
Yeah, I mean, they had so much CC available to them that it doesn't matter that they layer it all at the same time. They don't have to, like, wait and space out, oh, and Deadly Flourish and Taunt and blah, blah, blah. No, they just
throw it.
They throw everything, flash stun them into the wall, instant Taunt, instantly into the Deadly Flourish, and instantly dead there with the kill. And exactly, I mean, that's why you set up these plans where you get the aggressive play with your lane on bot side so you can push in, so you can go help and supplement with this, invade for Blabber. And it is a little demonstration of what we're talking about, why we like the setup that Cloud9 have drafted for with Lock, even though that was not with Lock. All the CC is on display. All of the possibilities there for the setup are on display on bursting down a target.
Yeah, and as we see C9 still being very, very aggressive in bot lane trading. But I also like this recognizes something that they're basically like, okay, we know you want to keep picking these pushing bot lanes. We know you want to shove us in, and countering that with the hard CC with multiple stun abilities into the blue buff invade. I just really like the thoughtfulness from the way that C9 want to play out this composition, at least early on in this game.
Okay, C9 off to the start that they want. Meanwhile, on the FlyQuest side, we do not have any solo deaths in the top lane here early on. Zihen, obviously a very scaling, powerful champion, whereas Renekton, we know him for his early dominance, and then late game, obviously all about finding the angles and the value targets there in those team fights. But although Thanatos does have a small lead here in the lane, it's not like what we saw last time. The first teleports have been completed on both sides. Those are pretty much synced up. Nobody's dead yet. It's kind of just locked in this stalemate of farm, 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 farm.
Farm, 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 and Thanatos is getting more of the farm.
Yeah. And he's pushing in the wave.
And he's level 6 advantage because of the pushing wave. However, he's a Bard down, so +1 level, -1 support for Thanatos, and he doesn't care, still gets the turret plate money. Well played.
And you could see that even though Cryogen doesn't actually jump out and do anything up there in that top lane, he does leave 2 of the hot Cocos that aren't actually Cocos because he's not the Christmas one. But he leaves those in the brush. That'll be a little bit of extra healing there for Gakgos. Little flower petals. Okay, cool. I like that. That's thematic.
You just made me realize that I automatically call it hot cocoa because
same.
Also, I did not for 1 second did I believe that Flowers likes the flower petals nearly as much as he likes the hot cocoa. He's like, yo, I like it. I'll take some tea.
Yeah, I do like the flower petals.
True.
They're kind of like, that's one of my things.
It's
like with
cute.
scorpions and flowers. Those are my
And
things.
you drink a lot of hot honey water here, when you're casting as well, so it's kind of similar.
Very important. Bard left me these.
Bard, exactly.
Yeah.
Bard dropping off flowers, some honey waters for his throat.
Shout out to our bards, the PAs.
Shout out to all the bards that make this show possible.
Honestly, yes. Meanwhile, what happened bot lane, because the Bard was topside, was that C9 is actually able to pick up that first Drake, again, going hand in hand with their early game plan as
Ooh, immediately they drop the taunt on Damasu, who tries to get away, but he can't sidestep the deadly flourish. The Varus is dead again. Tactical uses his cleanse to make sure that they're getting back away. Cryogen goes on a magical journey, trying to come through the wall and do something back. He's got Quad behind him. Tactical should be dead to rights here. Vulcan does manage to get away. Tactical, there's no way out of this. You just kind of got to decide how this is going to go down. And
Get another minion.
Decides it's going to go
just
down
yesing.
like this. Tactical does manage to get one last minion as he is shut down with the kill credit going over to Quad.
That's what you got to think about those times, People are like, oh, on your deathbed, your life flashes before your eyes. No, money flashes before your eyes. You need to scramble for as many minions as you possibly can get before you die.
That's what I'm going to think about when I'm laying there. Just like, I should have got that extra minion. I should have cleared an extra camp.
Grind set, Flowers.
Your network is your net worth, Kobe.
I need one more minion before I die.
Sorry.
I need you guys to never mind. I was gonna say something really morbid for the future. Now we have Vulcan up.
Well, maybe this is something really morbid. C9.
We're just joking here. Live full lives, everyone.
Yeah.
Don't focus on the money.
Unless you want to. If you want to focus on your minions and your money, live your life. That's part of living your life too. C9's living their life. They're focused on Gakgos' life and making sure that it's hell. They want him away from this turret. They want him away from those minions. You are allowed to have no EXP, no fun, no money, nothing.
Yeah. But I do really love this rotation up by C9, swapping their bot lane, taking advantage of zoning Gakgos completely away from this turret and being able to snatch up all 3 grubs as well. Again, just a really nice little quick play, and also continuing to really make Gatgos's life not fun. I feel like he hasn't really had a lot of fun in these 2 games.
He's living a full life, okay? We don't know what what he finds fun. Maybe
There's a Mother Kobisa over here saying that suffering is the most important part of life.
Exactly.
Just like
do hard things, Flowers, then you'll benefit in the long run.
okay, all right. Kobe's taking the monk approach here. It looks like
here.
Thanatos could be in some danger. Arrives back into lane, but immediately has the support of his teammate there. Vulcan with the stand united. Does not want to allow Thanatos to immediately face a bad lane state with Griffin waiting for that teleport arrival. Honestly, good looks from Vulcan there as Thanatos returns to normal form from Dominus at 95% HP.
It's been good looks from Vulcan all series so far as well. All these flashes on the bottom lane, trying to make some plays for his team, getting the opportunities there for Cloud9. Regardless, though, gold is at parity. It's just the extra dragon and grubs that Cloud9 will have to show for the early stages of the game.
Ooh, another one there from Thanatos. Quick, snappy trade, and Gatgos is again on the back foot. Vulcan is looking good. When you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, you play good. And when you play good, you're going to look even better because everybody knows that you're the real deal.
The cycle of looking good.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to tie it in the potential assist record, but we've had a little bit less blood thus far in this early game, even with the kind of setups we were talking about from C9. But I really like, more importantly, I do think Vulcan's timing around the map has been quite good.
Yeah, now he's got some extra roam time here as well, so make a visit towards mid lane. Thank you very much for the check-in. We need 18 more to tie, but we're not really about tying around here. We're about winning. So, and Afromu currently is not playing. Maybe he comes back, but...
Well, I also don't think that Cryogen's really playing a lot right now either, as he is caught in the enemy jungle, trying to do what Bard does, roam around a little bit, instead gets immediately punished. But now Blabber, the same fate. He stays alive for now, flashes back over the wall, tries to stay alive there with a point-blank keeper's verdict, but Griffin gets the kill before he dies to Loki in trade. You could see there the ultimate also used from Loki, that Purgatory gets dropped, so he is going to get the extra buff on that passively as he returns back to lane. So now we're getting a little bit more action. Now it's a little bit more high octane.
Yeah, as Vulcan pushes up on this bot side, looks like both teams are going to wait for their junglers to come back. Ooh, I love this vision toggle.
Yeah, this is Cryogen vision.
Yeah.
As he's going in for his play. Oh, I'm just a bard setting up some vision. Oh, shoot!
There's a Poppy here. Where's the back come
Blabber's camping the blast cones again.
Yeah, and then as we speed through, I like that they recognize that we can go immediately in onto the Blabber, right? But this also sets up for Loki's second kill, which puts him in a really good little early spot. Apollo, like Cryogen, did not realize Blabber was in the bush.
That was great.
I do like to. So Locke also, Loki wants to go pick up the skull, so you get your extra cooldown back a little bit refunded for the ultimate too. So we can keep the pace of the action. 2-0 on the Locke. 4 stacks as he had the Dark Seal very early. So if we're building a comp and we're playing for Locke and we're going to get these resets and have this burst damage, it's been a pretty good recipe so far for Cloud9. They even have the little passive bonus of the first Infernal Drake, the little Infernal Drake bonus for the extra bit of damage to get him low enough and reset.
You know what I like to see, Kobe, is a Hextech Rift. I just think because there's so many fun setups that I think both of these teams can try to do
Emily
to
just
get
wants more
onto each other's carries. I always want more blood.
Well, I feel like, though, if you're Bard, you're actually kind of pissed off when it's Hextech Rift because they're kind of stealing your whole thing.
That was my thing.
Yeah, your whole thing is you run through walls and do all this cool repositioning out of nowhere, but now everybody can do it. As you can see, Cryogen taking his recall, but in a hidden spot, just in case there's the opportunity to do anything bottom lane, but Loki's not going to give him that opportunity. 1-to-1 in Drakes here early on. C9 having having all 3 grubs in this second game compared to FlyQuest having them in the previous one. As Blabber shows up here in the top side, Thanatos does have his Dominus ready to cast if they want to try to go for the dive. And it's
Here
a
comes
full
the squad.
C9 party. Balloons, streamers, they probably even got a DJ for this one. Gakgos trying to just clear out the wave. There's Grim Deliverance as he tries to escape, but nothing's going to deliver you away from 4 people. C9 with the top lane dog pile. Get there, man.
Guys are like, great, a party. What'd you guys get me?
Yeah. No, endless CC.
That's what I wanted.
Thank you.
You're
That's
not
when you wish you
allowed
could
to do
return to the
anything.
store.
You guys, you really shouldn't have.
Yeah, no. Off of that, though, I do like the response from Quad and Griffin down here, right? Like getting that first turret onto Quad, who was able to pick up that kill in bot lane earlier on. So having your Syndra in a good spot, also great. And then Tactical cleaning up that topside turret.
Ooh, Cryogen goes for the Tempered Fate. He misses that and the Cosmic Binding. Thanatos staying alive for now, but remember, there was no Dominus. So as soon as Griffin commits the public execution, it is exactly that. They get the kill on Thanatos, but now Griffin, Cryo, and Quad all got to try to get away as Loki and Vulcan make their way towards this bottom side of the map. Masu cuts off Vulcan's ability to try to interfere with a nice little rain of arrows, and that means nothing else is going to happen. So FlyQuest, like we're saying, they get first turret. They grab themselves the extra kill in retaliation. Now Blabber's coming in mid, trying to find something on Damasu. Point Blank Keeper's Verdict forces the flash, but nothing more as the Rift Herald finally spawns 15 minutes in.
Yeah, even though, Gakgos has been enjoying his struggles up in the top lane, really, FlyQuest playing around Quad and Griffin is their recipe for this game. Huge burst damage for both of those champions, and the bot lane play does result in some success for them to keep their lead, keep the long lane nice and open on the bottom side of the map. Cloud9, good response, pick up the Herald. That's always good for a couple plates. So at least, well, I say that and there's a Bard on the enemy team.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not that good for a couple plates. We'll see about Cryogen's positioning, if he can be there and be ready for a Rift Herald play.
I mean, isn't that so annoying? In game number 1, your Rift Herald gets stopped by a Azir wall. Now in game number 2, you're up against Bard. It is both the FU Rift Herald champions in back-to-back games in the same best of 3.
Yeah. Rift Herald is just like, man, I wanna have fun too.
Poor Rift Herald. There's
Kelly,
even with all the
is it-
parties happening, Rift Herald doesn't even get to have fun.
It's true.
You just have to be smart about when you use it. You see Cryogen on the bottom side of the
Yeah, and then you drop it mid or something.
If you know where, you don't invite Cryogen to the party, basically.
Oh,
if you're the
man,
Rift
that's
Herald.
dirty. Sorry, Cryogen.
Yeah,
you're not
Rift
invited.
Herald is telling
We must
everybody.
have lost your invite in the mail.
Yeah, so
Well,
we're gonna have a secret party.
We got another party now in the Cloud9 jungle.
Ooh.
Unleashed power delivered straight to Vulcan's doorstep thanks to the Griffin delivery service there for the public execution. That's FlyQuest grabbing themselves their 4th kill of the game. As C9 steps forward, FlyQuest, despite being down in kills, are up 1,000 gold as a team. And that gold lead is all in this mid-jungle duo. It's all the Quad Griffin show.
Yep, keep playing off of these 2 high damage champions there. Good burst damage. Vulcan trying to just face check his own territory, retake your own jungle here, but walking in, already had very good position for FlyQuest, and that sets them up for the Hextech Dragon here. They can use the gates to reset, get back out, and try and make an incision. Honestly, you have to be very careful about the opening of this fight because there is so much emphasis on bursting down a target. Griffin, he doesn't have his ult, and nor does Quad, because they just used it to kill Vulcan, though, for the dragon fight, so maybe they call it off.
Yeah, I think that's why you do see Griffin kind of hovering around. Just as I say that.
Yeah, Griffin was hovering around, but Vulcan was ready to try to answer. Now Tempered Fate defensively coming out from Cryogen. C9's attack has not worked out thus far. Griffin still getting away for now. Loki going in, finds the first kill there for the killing spree. Vulcan gets away now too, but Loki's got to be careful. Double kill lands with the Cryogen, but it is mopped up as Quad gets one back. Now Blabber's got to be careful. Masu chasing him down. Can't quite do enough damage. It's a 2-for-1 so far, favoring Cloud9 as they also claim the Drake.
Yeah, really messy there. I was a little concerned until Loki was able to start cleaning up those kills, even though he falls. But more crucially, they do come away with that 3rd Drake. So despite... Oh, Quad searching for Blabber.
Yeah, Blabber tackles away to the red buff to keep himself safe from Quad's attack, and then Vulcan and Tactical show up. Quad gets a little bit too hyphy, goes into the enemy jungle solo, tries to get something on the Blabber there. He had Unleashed Power, maybe he's hoping for the assassination, but instead immediately shut down.
Yeah, as we take a look at this Drake fight, Griffin kind of hanging around, Vulcan coming in with the taunt. This is a really nice Bard ult from Cryogen to kind of delay things, but then as they try to get back onto Griffin, Loki ends up opening up on Lock. Quad getting a few kills on the back end is huge too. I mean, both of these mid laners are such crucial points for their teams.
And you could see
neither coaching staff looks particularly happy about that one.
during the replay, I want to point out for the picture-in-picture for anybody who wasn't watching, the Herald was summoned up during the replay and it charged into the tier 1 turret without being Bard interrupted. So they did manage to get at least their 2 plates worth of value out of the Rift Herald there on the C9 side. I still got to wonder what was Quad thinking though at the end there, because that just seems so risky.
He was thinking, I'm Syndra. Every jungler hates me because I yoink away camps all the time. So I'm going to annoy another jungler, but he was way out of line, Flowers. Not this time. Justice for the junglers that have been annoyed by Syndra's all this time.
I mean, I like it. I hate when Syndra does that.
Yeah.
Walk up and yoink the giant buff and throw it into Timbuktu. No, this time you are punished for your hubris as Quad ends up dying. That was his first death all game. 3-1-2 here on that pick. 100% kill participation so far. Obviously still a very good game overall for him, but across the aisle, it's Loki 4-1-0 on that lock. Highest individual kills in the game between either team, as he does have his Chovy Belt plus his Lich Bane both completed, so the burst damage is intense.
Yep, and we'll see C9 just kind of trying to push in this bot wave with the Renekton, try to reclaim mid control as Masu continues pushing with this Varus. Vulcan looks like he might be fishing for something. I feel like this C9 comp is always just really trying to force FlyQuest into a situation where they can layer their CC and take someone out. But FlyQuest are making a really nice move up here.
Yeah, this is a 4-man push from FlyQuest, hungry for that turret crust. They're going to knock off half of the HP, but then immediately back away.
Delicious.
I
Yummy
love
crust.
some turret crust.
They can do that because Masu does have teleport on the Varus. So Masu is pushing mid and Thanatos pushing bottom. Thanatos actually gets all the way up to the turret plates, but they're going to teleport on him to make a trap play.
All right, it's Masu.
Oh.
Plus,
I'm out.
goes.
He's out.
And Thanatos says, all right, teleport for sure. Just goes back up to the top lane, immediately regroups with his own mid laner.
All right, yeah, anytime you try and make a teleport play on the top laner, if they see it in time and they saw Gakko's channeling that teleport down bottom, he can just use his own as an exit out to the top side for Loki, but...
All right. FlyQuest wrapping around here, wanting to make the play towards Loki, who goes over the wall, gets himself away for now, throwing some ritual nails towards Griffin, but Scout of the Week finds a target. Public execution going after the mid laner, and Loki has already been assassinated. Tempered Fate to try to save Griffin as Thanatos disengages. There's not enough damage here from C9 to finish off Griffin, and the play ends up working out for Fly so far. Now the curtain call has opened up. FlyQuest have got to make sure they protect the VIPs. They do just that. +1 Fly on the play.
Yeah, what a really nice public execution coming out of Griffin. We talked about one of the reasons why I thought the Mbessa might be flexed wasn't just because of the matchup, but because he is so comfortable on it. And also the Bard stun coming out just in time.
Careful here, they're gonna look you. They're gonna look you for sure.
You want you on me?
I'm not coming.
No flash this
I'm
time.
not coming.
Wait, can you help me? No flash. No, look, lock.
Lock.
Lock is
Lock that.
Renekton on me.
Renekton.
I
We're hitting Renekton, okay?
There's look to run, look to run.
Renekton,
Look to run.
I'm pushing.
I'm fine.
Oh, back to live immediately. We got a problem as Masu is down. Tactical claims the kill in that one. FlyQuest losing their AD carry out of the replay. I really like this 1-2 punch they have, though, between the Mbessa setup and the Syndra follow-up. Any single target that gets caught by both of those abilities is nearly guaranteed to be dead. But a replay now as we look back at what happened to Masu over there in the mid lane that led to this Drake take for C9. It's just Blabber. He's got Deadman's. He's got the steadfast presence. He gets Masu's attention. in, and then it's Vulcan who ends up pulling the trigger for the engage. That enables C9 to take this Drake uncontested. They are now on sole point on this Hex Tech Rift that you mentioned earlier, Emily, and that is a scary prospect for FlyQuest in 5 minutes.
Yeah, even with all of these, again, we talked about these teams trading blows. They're constantly trading sides of the map. This ended up being such a good play from C9 because of the Vulcan collapse. Getting onto Masu, who was pushed pretty far up because he did have backup coming out of the FlyQuest jungle. However, that is going to put C9 on sole point, and also they were able to pick up that bot lane tier 1 as well.
Yeah, Blabber and Vulcan have been so active this whole game. Poppy and Shen, really great facilitators. And once you get Deadmans,
Ooh, Chains of Corruption and Tempered Fate both shot out. The Chains miss, the Fate does not. Blabber going to be your target in the middle of 4. Keeper's Verdict tries to buy enough time, but Blabber is already down. Meanwhile, back over in mid, Quad could be in some danger. Vulcan locks him up, but there's no follow-up damage. FlyQuest going to walk away with a +1 so far on this one. They have a 5-man group here in the mid lane. The tier 1 turtle died to a single auto attack. Masu grabs that one. Baron is live on the map, and FlyQuest path their way towards it.
just as we're talking about, oh, Blabber, good pick off on the Varus in mid lane, then he gets picked. Just the edge of Cryogen's ultimate. The Bard caught him, and now they're on Baron, drawing Cloud9 in.
Okay, C9, what's it gonna be? Thanatos taking the Hex Gate. He's behind the Baron pit wall now. Gakgos jumps over, chasing towards the Crocodile. Thanatos needs to make some distance, and he slices over the wall and finds Masu, who has to flash just to try to stay alive. Quad is killed instead. Beautiful moves from Thanatos to force a critical summoner spell out of one carry and kill the other.
Thanatos with the 5-head Mega Mind Crocodile play. He flanks all the way around, and he gets so much value that is insane. The entire team comes to try and chase him, but not only does he get summoner spells, he kills a key carry, and he earns his team the Baron. Thanatos, the savior of Cloud9, until inevitably a Baron Steel Flowers.
Yep, hold on now. FlyQuest is still willing to challenge. They're coming up as a 4-man unit. Keep your eyes on Griffin as he wants to go into the pit. Gakgos is in here providing a little bit of vision. Baron down to 2,000 HP. Secured by Griffin. FlyQuest take the objective. They are going to lose their jungler for it, but they will happily take the trade.
You knew it with the way this series has gone, Flowers. Inevitably, it's got to be a Baron Steel after that.
It has to be.
On one hand we give, in the other hand we take.
It feels like that's been happening all series, right? As we take a look at this Thanatos play, everyone just goes after Thanatos. He pops Dominus, almost assassinates Masu, and then Vulcan is immediately there for the taunt onto Quad. And then let's take a look at how Griffin is able to get in here.
I mean, he just flashes in there. He tried to ult in first, and then he just flashes in to be able to get it afterwards. Steals it away. That was crazy, too, on the chase. FlyQuest, when they're chasing Thanatos, their two low mobility carries separate from everyone else to do the cutoff on the bottom side of the map. And Thanatos is like, great!
Cool!
The Syndra and the Varus have been isolated themselves on the other side of this red pit. Perfect. But then it turns around, they steal it on the side of FlyQuest, and we're right back into the action, Flowers.
So, the important thing that comes up next is in less than a minute and a half, the Hex Soul will spawn for C9. The gold is pretty much dead even. FlyQuest do command the Baron for 20 seconds beyond when that dragon spawns, which should help them a lot in being able to set up first around the objective.
Yeah, and you already see them doing it, right? Like, they pushed in that bot wave. Cryogen is moving in to get some vision down. Look at all of that vision control. I might have thought, I was like, is Blabber going to go for it? Is he? He has Loki there, but they're just going to end up clearing out the ward. But this should, as Cryogen is resetting, give them a really nice setup for this potential Hextech Soul for C9.
They're going to make a play on top side here. Look at the Jhin positioning. It was pinging to try and pick off the Zehen. Now they pull it right back off. They have the defensive vision, so Jhin is rotating back towards... Well, they're actually deciding at the moment. He rotates now back towards the mid lane. They're looking at Masu.
Okay, Tactical and Vulcan. Wrapping around here. Masu immediately pops the Ghost Blade to create a little bit of extra distance. He's got Griffin and Cryogen right beside him. Teleports arriving now for Thanatos and Gak Ghost both. Everybody's ready for the Hex Soul Party. Blabber jumps in. He immediately charges towards Masu, but he has no backup here just yet. Loki's right on top of him. They've already assassinated the Varus. Loki trying to get away for now. Griffin on the chase, but he can't quite find the kill. Gak Ghost in the middle of everyone. Grim Deliverance. He's trying to charge Determination, but he is not determined enough. 3 dead on the FlyQuest side. C9 don't lose anybody. Blabber with a tackle forward into the wall. Griffin trying to fight his way out of this one, but Thanatos has arrived. Loki's still here for the follow-up damage. Griffin's just trying to get away, but no. Loki jumps in, stays alive just barely, but barely's gonna do it. C9 absolutely slammed the fight 4-0. They're gonna take the Dragon Soul right after.
Every time I think C9 have gone in too far, it feels like Vulcan is there with a follow-up taunt onto these targets that Blabber is isolating. This was really, really risky, in my opinion, but they just have so much CC. As soon as Blabber sees the angle, he's immediately on to Masu, and then Loki is in, Vulcan is in there. Loki manages to survive. Griffin is not able to get onto him. And then they immediately turn on to Gakkos in the top side of the fight.
Yeah, Masu positioned himself right against the wall. And you got to know, since you burned your flash over the red buff last time, they're talking about it.
Oh, man. That's it.
Oh, that's a good
When
reaction.
the dive combo works,
Yeah.
man, when the dive combo hits, I mean, all they have to do, you saw it, it's a flashless Varus, okay, against the wall. Blabber's eyes get huge. He's like, oh my God, the Varus is against the wall. Goes in, dead man play, goes for the flash stun. They get the lock ultimate to tag him for the execute, and look at that mountain of gold for Cloud9.
We talked about how dangerous the CC setup can be with this lock, being able to freely move in these fights. I have loved this series thus far. Like, it feels like whenever I think someone is going to win, the other team responds.
Well, C9 is now going to continue pushing their lead forward. FlyQuest grouped up defensively. They know they have to deal with this Hex Soul now. It provides C9 so much more power as Thanatos loses a good chunk of his HP, down to about half here on the Renekton, but Blabber is looking to re-engage. Thanatos with the dominance. Gakkos here on the front line, but Thanatos doesn't want him. The Tempered Fate locks up multiple players here from both sides, and Quad is already down. That's the carry Syndra. That's the fed FlyQuest player. C9 gets one, they get themselves right back out. FlyQuest still scrambling, trying to defend as Tactical puts a bullet in the back of Cryogen's head. That's a 2-0 play for C9.
You can see how much damage this Hextech Soul is doing in that fight too. Tactical now is going to be able to clean up this topside turret, and things are looking really good for C9, Kobe.
They certainly are. The snowball is in full effect with the Hextech Soul. I mean, it is really difficult to stop this because there's such long-range setup from the Jhin, and everybody has dive here for Cloud9 with the setup, with the Dead Man's Plate on Poppy is just going to run at you. So FlyQuest, they don't have a lot of safety on the map. And checking anywhere out as far as Baron is definitely off the table. So we expect Cloud9 to continue to snowball this game, grab their Baron, and then look to finish the job at the FlyQuest base. Maybe even before then, they've got eyes on Masu, who again has no flash here, just a Ghost Blade to run for his life.
Yup, but he does do a good job sidestepping away from the taunt as Loki wanting to step up to grab the kill on Amasu, instead just immediately blasted by Quad. That's a pretty big shutdown for FlyQuest, for the player that already had most of the money. So FlyQuest will stem this tide for now. They're going to have to wait until Loki's back alive for C9 to do anything more.
And crucially, that stops this push, right? As we take a look at this earlier fight with Thanatos getting rooted up, taking a whole bunch of damage. And I was just counting how many Hextech procs were in this, but really nice engage from Thanatos. The response from the Bard, but again, C9 just have so much CC follow-up going in, and Tactical,
Kerblam.
Yeah, it's really hard to protect carries like Syndra and Varus, even if you have Bard Ultimate. You saw there, Syndra is already chunked within the duration of the stun. The flash from Thanatos, he's able to chunk her down to kill range for a Jhin shot lethal. And yeah, they Bard Ultimate to make one of the Jhin shots miss, but then she just dies as soon as she comes out of the Zhonya's anyways, and does go down. That quote there, Flowers, about FlyQuest, making worlds, looks less and less likely as they lose to the top teams of the LCS. Yes, their schedule has been very difficult. Team Liquid and Lion are top teams. Losing to them is really rough, but now here against Cloud9, they're on the precipice of losing here as well.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's looking at Liquid and Lion as the top two right now, but Gakgos wrapping around from the side, trying to find the angle here to enter into the fight, tackled back into the wall instead. Determination mostly filled, but not quite there. The bar's not red yet. There he goes with the Grim Deliverance. Gakgos in the middle of everybody as Vulcan has to try to get away. Blabber and Thanatos still here on the front line. Technical opens up the curtain call. Quad wants to escape, but he's trapped in purgatory, and he goes to hell. Blabber continues to charge forward as Loki gets a double kill and Masu falls. A triple kill for the lock. Loki is popping off, but Thanatos denies the penta as he cuts Griffin down himself. Only one left standing on FlyQuest. It's Gakgos alone. C9 simply went past him. It didn't matter that he had the positioning that he needed. C9 found the fight they wanted. Now they have the march straight into the enemy base. They are going to force down these Nexus turrets without much of a fight from Gakgos. There's nothing that the Zahin can do. C9, 2-0, dominate the head-to-head against FlyQuest.
Cloud9 are heating up in summer, adding Tactical and Loki to the team. Looking quite good in this series. I really like the comp around Locke as well. Analysts, what do you have to say about this Cloud9?